Welcome, Ian. Welcome to the 6 Simple Questions. Thank you for taking part. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I certainly would. Hello, everyone. My name's Ian Lavin. I am married with 2 children, and I am a professional magician.
Great. And I always ask, how did the members get into the profession? I'm really interested to hear this one. How did you become a magician?
How long have we got, Simon? Basically, little quick backstory. Growing up, I was always fascinated by magic, enjoyed watching it on TV, but I always felt it was a bit of a guilty pleasure. It was a bit cheesy. It wasn't very cool.
Yeah.
And basically, while I was a kid and at university and things like that, my main thing was sport. I played loads of basketball. I played a lot of football as well, and my weekends were taken up doing those things. So fast forward, I finished university, and my first job when I left university was in retail. So all this sport that I was doing at the weekend suddenly went, and literally I was either working or socialising. That was my life, and I had no hobbies at all at that time. And bizarrely, at the same time as I was feeling like this need to pick up a hobby or pick something up, David Blaine became very popular.
Yeah.
And David Blaine was the opposite of any other magician. He was amazing, like other magicians I thought were amazing, but he was also very cool. He was just this guy from New York, jeans and a t-shirt, going around the streets, doing fantastic magic tricks. And for the first time, I thought, you know what, I wonder if you can learn how to do magic. And that was kind of the seed from which everything's grown, to be honest.
Right.
I went to Waterstones, I bought a book. At the time, there was a magic store in Affleck's Palace. So I used to start going there. And before I knew it, I was doing magic at friends' parties. People were telling me, oh, you should get some business cards printed in and think of doing this for a living. And it kind of just snowballed from there, to be honest with you.
Right. Great. Oh, brilliant. Well, right. So as you know, in the Business Network, we like to ask some personal questions. I know football's a big thing in your life.
Yeah.
When you've got some spare time, what hobbies or pastimes do you do?
So, obviously, it's funny because I'm very lucky that I'm very passionate about magic. So even when I'm not, I suppose, working on the business side of things, I still class magic as a hobby, and I spend a lot of time watching magic videos, watching performers on YouTube, reading books about magic to learn tricks. So magic, I would say, I'm very fortunate that I get to do for a living something that I genuinely just love doing.
Yeah. Other
than that, football's a big part of my life. I'm a Blackburn Rovers fan. Don't hold it against me. My dad's from Blackburn, so even though I'm from Manchester, because of where I grew up, by rights I should be a Manchester United fan, and I've watched my team win loads of Premier Leagues and whatever else. Yeah. I'm a Blackburn Rovers fan. Luckily, I got to see us win the Premier League. Yeah. And now I like to play football. Nowadays, it tends to be 5-a-side on a weeknight. Yeah. And my son and daughter are both play football. So I help.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I coach my son's team and I help out with the coaching of my daughter's team. So that I really enjoy doing that, to be honest. Yeah. Coaching kids is something that I take a lot of pleasure out of.
Great. And I listen to a few podcasts. Are there any that you listen that you like to recommend? Right.
Yes and no. I had a bit of a quandary with this one because with the business books, I've read quite a lot of business books, and when I'm in the car, I've got an Audible account, and quite often I listen to a business book on Audible. Yeah. But to be honest with you, although I listen to podcasts, there's no business ones that I really listen to. So I had this drama of, do I make something up and make it sound like I've got a podcast, or do I just recommend a podcast that I like to listen to on a personal level? Yeah. So the podcast I like to listen to be honest with you, is one called the Football Ramble Daily. Right. So that, unfortunately, I don't have a business but although there is one I listen to called the Magician's Advice Podcast, which is advice for the business side of magic. So I do listen to that, actually. There's potentially some crossover for other members of the network, but generally speaking, I listen to podcasts.
Right. Well, to be honest with you, we've had a lot of football podcasts mentioned. Mr. Kintish recommended Evil Genius, which is another one. So we're not saying it has to be a business related one. And we're all supposed to be reading a bit more while we're in lockdown. Have you been reading anything in particular you'd like to mention?
Yeah, so I started reading these sorts of books. Not recently. Probably about a couple of years ago. I started working with a business coach actually, who's an action coach called Paul Lynn, and he started a business book club. And although I've read quite a few books, this is the first book that he had in his book club. It's called The Jelly Effect by Andy Bounds, and it's all about effective communication and making sure that when you talk to people, you're not saying a load of things that aren't necessary to the conversation.
Yes.
But what you're saying is worth saying. I don't know if that's already been recommended.
No, it hasn't. No.
Right.
No.
If you haven't read that, that is a really fantastic book, actually, The Jelly Effect.
Right.
Highly recommend that one.
Great. And it's not quite the final thing, but any words of wisdom? It doesn't have to be about lockdown. It can be about anything in particular.
The only thing I can think of, not the only thing, but the thing I thought of, is rather than try and be sort of too clever, one of the most pertinent things I heard was that the secret to marketing and to business is basically hard work and consistency.
Yeah.
And rather than trying to think of that genius thing that you're just going to do once, that one genius Facebook post, that one genius video, the key to success is just doing things regularly. Because by doing them regularly, naturally you're going to get better at doing them anyway, and you're going to generate a following that way. So I think the secret to business is consistency.
Yeah, and it's so important at this moment in time to do that and keeping everybody's thoughts and faces. Yeah. Right, now, I think we're going to upset Mr. Priddick and Mr. Moran and Mr. Booth, because you're not going to cut me in half. If we
social distancing.
Yes. Go on, what are you going to do for us?
So, let's see. Like I say, it's obviously, I'm going to try and tilt the camera angle a bit, and I'm going to try and do a card trick for you. It's obviously not ideal circumstances. So what I'm going to ask you to do, Simon, I've got a deck of cards. I'm going to ask you to name a card, any card you like.
Right, 8 of spades.
8 of spades. There's one in the deck here somewhere, I have no doubt. The 8 of spades. Are you sure you're happy with that? You can change your mind if you like.
No, I'll stick with that.
So you'll stick with the Ace of spades. 8 of spades. That's the right card, yeah?
That's right, yeah.
Perfect. The reason I asked Simon is earlier, before I came here, I went through the cards. I'm going to try and do this in shots. And from another deck, I took one card out. Can you see it says your card on the back? Okay. Now, Sam, we obviously didn't set anything up. I didn't say to you, look, when we do this trick, will you say the 8 of spades? That card that says your card is actually the 8 of spades.
Right.
Now, we're going to try that again, Simon.
Right.
So we've got the 8 of spades. I'm going to put that up there. I'm going to try and keep it in shots, I'm not cheating.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through the cards. Can you say stop anywhere you like?
Stop.
Are you happy there, or do you want to go any further?
No, we'll stay there. Yep.
You're very helpful today, Simon. Most people would want to change their mind a bit, but I appreciate that. So I'm going to look away so I can't see. Can you see that card? Is it in frame?
I can.
It's not the 8 of spades, is it?
It isn't the 8 of spades. No, it isn't.
Yeah. That's gone wrong then. Never mind. It would have been good if it was. But look, we're going to do the same trick. So your card, I'm going to try. I'm very conscious I don't want to block that card, because if you look, hopefully.
I don't know how you do this.
Was that the one?
Yeah. Well, the weird thing was, I actually had the 7 of hearts as a card. I thought you were going to ask me for another card. I thought 7 of hearts. So when you picked that, I thought, oh no, this is incredible.
I wish I'd have asked you now. That'd have been better.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Ian. I always love being on your table, so
thank you very much. Thank you.
Because it's always a good fun one, because you always get a round of applause and things. So,
hopefully we'll be back on those tables before too long.
I do hope so. Anyway, thank you so much for taking part in. It's been brilliant.
Thank you for asking me.
Okay, thank you.
Keep well.
Yeah, you too.